Did I ever finish Elden Ring? Asks Welsh FPV. No, I didn't. I actually stopped playing Elden Ring and started playing Metal Gear Solid 5. Here's what happened with Elden Ring. I don't remember the exact combo I got, but I got this double katana combo. I forget the name of the blades. And it basically took all the fun out of the game for me. Because attacking just became this game of stand near monster and mash buttons. And it's dumb because okay, so just don't play that combo. Just get a different weapon and force yourself to play differently. But that's not fun because I know I could be doing way more damage by just button mashing with these two katanas. And so I want to play in like an optimal way, but now that but it's so sort of imbalanced that it's not fun anymore. So that was kind of why it wore off for me.
That works until the end of the game. And then there's a bunch of optional bosses you can't do that too, especially like Melania.
Right. How many times did you finish?
4, and then 2 more characters. So 6, I think. I got all the achievements, so I wanted to get all the endings.
You played the shit out of that game. And sure, but what that's going to mean is that I'm going to get to the end of the game having not actually learned how to play my character optimally. And then I'm just going to get my... Well, I know. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying right now, the thing that works the best is to button mash, which isn't fun. And I don't know like what the next thing is going to be.
So let me suggest. So are you suggesting they should put a really hard boss early to convince you to not do what you're doing? Like, what's the game design solution for this?
The game design solution is to nerf that build. I mean, like, to be fair, I'm not an expert on Elden Ring builds, but...
Isn't there always going to be a build like that, though? I mean, I get what you're saying, but then are we just going to, like, handpick nerf every single build until none of them are powerful enough to, like, wipe through the bosses, and let's nerf Mimic Tier so we can't do Mimic Tier, and, like, I don't know. I think that's part of the fun of Elden Ring. Like, I did, like, 4 different builds over the course of 6 times I beat it. And, like, you get the ability to try all those things and work through all this. Like, Mimic Tier is just, like, it trivializes the game.
Right.
But I just stopped using them.
So, like, let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, because I'm not changing the subject, though, trust me. There's a thing that happens to me where when a game becomes too easy, I just don't want to play it anymore. I'm like, okay, I beat that game. Even if I didn't beat the game. Like, in Metal Gear Solid 5, if you use Quiet as your companion, if you level her up just a little bit, you can just hide in cover while she snipes every enemy on the map without them ever seeing you. And it's like I think of it as I don't want to play the game anymore level. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just not going to use Quiet. And like I'm just going to I'm not going to use her as a companion. But then I'm missing out on story content because her sort of relationship with Snake is not Snake. Who's the fucking protagonist of Metal Gear Solid 5? Anyway, it's like you're missing out on stuff if you do that. But I was just like, okay, I'll play the game, but I just won't use her for the story missions unless I have to. But it just didn't feel that way with Elden Ring. Like, I wanted to play that combo, but I wanted it to be more challenging and to be more tactical than just like slashing. And some level I was just like, I know I could just get a different weapon and play a different build. Yeah, but I didn't want to. No, it's a me thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think Elden Ring for me was a very good tool to like limit myself inside of the system to have fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like it's similar to what you're talking about, I guess, with maybe like Diablo 2. Like, why is Diablo 2 fun if I can just destroy everything? Right? Because there's still stuff to do. So like that's sort of where I ended up with, except I was like, well, why don't I just use worst gear and then it's actually a challenge to beat? Like when I run into a situation like the Quiet thing, I literally just mark off in my head like, okay, this game is beat, so now I'm never using quiet again, and now I'm going to continue the game as though I don't have.
Right.
And I just do that with everything like that. Like Hoarfrost Stomp, there is a thing you could get in Elden Ring early, and I played with Hoarfrost Stomp for a minute, and then I was like, yep, this isn't fun. So now we're going to not use Hoarfrost Stomp anymore.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe I just need to put one of those katanas down.
And somebody else in chat mentioned the game's not multiplayer. Why do you feel the need to min-max on a non-multiplayer game? And I think that's just personality and gaming, right? Like, because I understand why somebody would want to always do the best build in multiplayer because they're competing, right?
Here's where I fucked up though, because part of the fun of the game to me, it's not necessarily that I'm beating the bosses. The fun of the game is in figuring out the build, right? And figuring out the meta. And the place where I really fucked up was that I read in a strategy guide. So I had this one katana. I don't remember which one it was. And I read in a strategy guide that if you two-handed with this other katana, it was super OP. And I rushed. I looked up where the other one was and I rushed it. I went and got it. And it's probably in part because I didn't really earn that accomplishment. Like if I had found that katana and then felt like I earned the damage I was dealing, maybe I would be like, yeah, fuck these bosses. I'm tearing them up. But part of it, I think, is that I just rushed it, didn't find it organically. And maybe on some level, I don't feel like I deserve it. But I can't undo that decision. I can't put it back in the crypt and forget where it was. Now I know. So maybe I spoiled the game for myself.
Yeah, I have a thing where I don't look up anything when I was playing Elden Ring, I didn't look up anything.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid for basically those reasons. I mean, I also didn't want to spoil out the story and the things you could find and stuff, but
yeah.
Also, that min-maxing, like I've been trying to push that away for the last 10 years of my life because I used to be hardcore min-max everything and just ruin every game.
Yeah.
But at some point you're like, yeah, I actually want to play these games.
Right.
So then I like develop this mechanism where, I can kind of control myself. Like I played an archer-only character in Elden Ring.
Just to see people doing no armor,
Yeah.
If it's too hard, I should just play no armor. So like one hit kill. Be like, okay.
But I would also
now you're a glass cannon.
I understand you're not learning these skills, but there's plenty of opportunity to when you hit those wall bosses, and there's plenty of wall bosses in Elden Ring.
Good meme, Black Jungle. You're 100% right. Frankly, part of it might just be that I got tired of playing it and I wanted to play something else. And now we're just sort of,
Also fair.
Always happy to talk video games with you, Blunty. It's always an exciting and interesting conversation. You got a great perspective on it. Blunty and I have sort of bantered about making like a video game blog or vlog or podcast. The only problem being that I play like 3 video games a year and you play more than that. So I'm not sure how much I would have to offer.
I was actually going to talk to you about that. I think that like if we didn't do the podcast and instead we played games, like I think that would be the solution to that because you don't play enough games. But if we played games and then talked and posited about the games, like if anybody in chat has played Return of the Obra Dinn, like I think that would be an excellent game for us to play.
Multiplayer games, you mean?
No, Return of the Obra Dinn is single player, but basically we'd be working out a puzzle together. That would be the idea. Like the whole game is like a puzzle and you're trying to figure out what's going on the ship and all those kind of things. But anyway, it also gives a chance for us to talk about game mechanics and understanding and all that kind of stuff too. So
yeah,
maybe.
Neat.
It's a thought.
Neat. You never know.
And that's one of the only games like that I haven't played to death. Like I've only played it a little bit and realized like I want to wait until I can play it.
I should play a game. What if it was that I play a game that you've played to death and we talk about it?
Oh man, okay, Outer Wilds.
Right?
Already have an answer. Outer Wilds.
I'm the guy who doesn't play enough games, and you play all the games. But we both have kind of like deep thoughts about games. I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yes.
We'll think about it.
All right.
I can't do anything unless I have the excuse that it's work,
it's not like you could just play without making content.
Oh no, we'd have to make content. I can't just take the afternoon off and play video games with my friend. The closest I get to that, and I'm joking, but it's actually really painfully close to the truth. The closest I get to that is playing video games with my kids, because then like it's not for me. It's like because I'm bonding with my kids. That's like the very seldom just sit down and play a game. That's just how I am. Anyway, continuing with the questions. Thank you for that. A little excuse to talk about video games, Welsh FPV.